Everybody, welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs. I needed a Velcro mount for the front, so I decided to make one by hand. This is me making it. I use this sheet metal quite a bit, just because it's a very easy material to work with. You get really good results with just, simple tools. Kind of old primitive methods that seem to do just fine when you need something to just put a piece of Velcro on that I wanted to drop down into the original body mounts, and then use the set screws to be able to hold that in place. So, busted out the old tin snips. So the stuff cuts like paper, basically, with a good pair of tin snips. I think this is 0.25. It's definitely got some rigidity. It's good enough for the purpose that I'm going to use it using it for. This is cutting the tab, so you just cut in from the side, cut all the way to the corner, and then kind of work it back and forth. It'll drop right out. And you can get pretty exact cuts with tin snips if you get good at it. Just practice a little bit if you want to be sure, a little more sure of yourself. Always cut a little bit wide, or, if you're not sure what kind of width you want. That was kind of a mistake, honestly. Anyway, start zipping through this at some point here, I think. But yeah, I think I'm just trying to show you, it's pretty easy to work with. Get yourself a nice pair of flat pliers. And it's really good for flattening the metal out after you're done. Any cuts, any irregularities. A little fine tuning for the width. And you can get really nice, pretty fine cuts with this stuff too if you're careful. So I think I repeat that process one more time. Clean things up a little bit with a file. And just knocking the corners of everything down just in case. A little bit of test fit, make sure that my width is good. Now we need to fold those tabs up and then back down. They need to come up from the plate and then do a 180. Because I don't want the thickness of the Velcro, I don't want it to sit too much higher. Or I want it to sit exactly the same height as what the shock towers are. So ASMR super gluing. As you can see, the little tabs kind of do a 180 there. Let that bake for a few minutes and you should be able to. So anyway, yeah, they do a little 180 there, and then you can use the set screw to kind of hold them in just like that. Works really well. So anyway, now for part 2. Thanks for watching. Hello and welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs. Thank you for stopping by the channel. So as you can see in front of you, I have built up an IR60 for my very own. This kind of all started as originally seeing this on, I think, Injora's page or something like that, where they had posted that these were now available. It's not attached yet. But anyway, obviously went right to their site and quickly placed an order for one. And the body kit comes with everything you need. A rear hinge piece mount, and also the front bumper clip, which I did not use. I went with the standard Velcro mount because I wanted to keep everything kind of clean up in the front. And depending on whether or not I edit in the front my little mount that I made here for the Velcro, then you'll see exactly how this was going to close up. But let's kind of get down to what this thing's all about. Obviously, like I said, this is the Injora IR60. Basically, it's the Toyota Hilux body kit, or the SR22, SR5, whichever what do you want to call it. Basically, from about 1979, 1980, up through 83, they all basically shared the same body style. The grille changed a little bit, the interiors changed. some of the exterior styling of the body change. But this is a pinched version of it, so you see that you have a pinched hood. It also did come with some body panels, which I opted to leave off. I think I've seen a lot of guys doing theirs with the pinched panels on the back, and they look great. And I think it actually, you know, it's a good looking truck. There's no doubt about it. In fact, now seeing that on there with this wheeled and tire setup, it's a really good looking setup. But almost looked kind of good to maybe just throw one panel on. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So what did I build this on? This was for the Traxxas TRX4M. I think the Bronco and whatever else, the non-high trail stuff. Basically, I think that chassis will fit this universally across the board. I realized that prices right now are pretty good. I probably could have ordered myself a TRX4M for about 140 bucks and had it here a week or two ago and been playing with it and so on and so forth. But I had, from once upon a time, a long time ago, a Hobby Plus CR18 Rushmore. And so those chassis rails have been sitting around forever. And I decided to see what was possible and began to look at this like there was, you know, okay, so I've got a skid, I've got a motor, let's get the drive shaft, let's get the drivetrain working. Once the drivetrain's all set, then I'll get the body mounted on here and kind of start taking a look at how this is going to, you know, function and everything. Is it going to work? Because this was a straight ground up build. There was no kit involved other than just the body. Let me just take the fuel cell thing that I made off so it doesn't get damaged. So underneath what I did here, you've got, these are 69 millimeter rear lowered high clearance, and then you have 51s up on the top, and then these are approximately 49 millimeter high clearance front from Nick Albin, and then you have like the standard JLU yoke up on the top side. And so lengthwise, this ended up coming out to about 157, 158 millimeters the way it is now. It was originally at about 164, 165, and so it had extended the front end out a little too much for my personal tastes, and it looked a little too monster trucky. I also had it setting on portals originally, which didn't look bad, but I wanted to see what this looked like on straights as well. While I had it on portals, I noticed that I was having a lot of problems with the differentials on those, so I decided that I was not going to run those axles because I do want to run this truck a little bit more than not. So, what else have I got to say about this thing? As I was building it up, you know, I got the motor in and drivetrain working and stuff like that, and immediately decided that I wanted to go ahead and order the 180 motor. Except that I wanted to find out for sure whether or not there was a chance I could still find a skid plate and a gearbox that would work for the Hobby Plus stuff. The CR18 is still a fairly common chassis, so I used the CR18 skid plate from RC all-wheel drive, as well as their sinker speed, and that's also just hitched up to a 180 motor. Everything's running on 2S. This is also, believe it or not, still running Axial. It's with the AE-6 version 1 stock radio, factory stuff. And then I gave it a ramp crab. What is this? A 6 kilogram servo up front, and it's running OGRC plus 5s. This bumper on here happens to be the very first modification that I ever bought for my first SEX24 JLU about 4 years ago. This was the first like bolt-on mod that I ever got, and it just so happened that I found it yesterday, and it also worked out that the mount from that fits the front of this, and so I put that on. I have not put headlights in the front of this yet, and that's because I do have the harness, which is right here, but I'm going to change those over to just some nice warm yellows. These are blue, and I don't like blue headlights, so I want to make those a little bit softer color. And then I'm also thinking of just kind of fabbing up some sort of light bucket or what have you for the back here to just put some red taillights in and run all that too. Also, keep in mind, I made all of the windows for this out of what would be like a Danish pastry container, and then put everything in with Tester's canopy glue, which is a dream. This stuff is awesome. It does leave, you know, a little bit of a residue around your corners and stuff like that. But if you're going for an effect of having an old window in there and you want the truck to look a little bit beat up, so on and so forth, I think that stuff fits the part and fits the part well. And not to mention, it just gets you clear windows. This, like I said, it's got a tinted piece. It's like a one-hole piece that you can take out of there and then decide to do this. So I masked up multiple different colors and wanted this to kind of look the part of, you know, just a beat up old Toyota that you'd find getting ready to go comp for a weekend someplace. Somebody that needed to scrap a door from something, and he just found himself a new quarter panel for the front. And let's see. Oh yeah, you can also see that I just yesterday fabricated out of some very thin. I used Danish, the top side of the Danish container for the windows, and then it was sitting in like a metal pan, of course. And so that metal pan, I decided to try and incorporate the lettering that was on the bottom, and I made what would be a fuel cell cover for the battery, which then of course conveniently slides over the top. I did need to find a way to secure that so it sits down a little bit better. And I was even thinking about going down the edges of where I folded that over to make that, to kind of put like little like rivet marks or whatever with like a center punch or what have you. I was thinking of just like strapping over the top from the shock towers on here to make that kind of look pretty good. I might even just make like a strap like I just made for the front of this, and then be able to just screw that down and just have the whole thing just be kind of strapped in by one little metal piece, which I think I just came up with the idea of that right on camera. Cool. Got the SBG stickers back there. Prop to Matt for getting those out to us every few months whenever he makes those available. They always look good on a truck. So underneath again here, yeah, really not much going on. It's such a simple setup. I kept the electronics here. This is one of the original trays, which I just trimmed down and mounted on the lower part here. I believe this was originally a flat tray here, which had a servo horn, or a servo mount, excuse me. All of that stuff got cut away. Battery tray in the back is original. I am running 400 milliamp hour 2S, really tiny little packs. These guys are great. You can find these on Amazon. They're super cheap. I've put probably 30 cycles through those, if not more than that, and they have been great. I have not had any problems with cells dropping out or anything like that. Wiring is fairly simple. Obviously, if you've ever run an SCX24, you know that those things are not brain surgery inside. It's pretty simple. What else? This was just like a standard 180/51 turn, which does have really nice startup speed. In fact, while the camera is... All right, so turn you on, drop that back down. Those 6 kilogram servos from Ramp Crab are not the worst thing I've ever run. They're definitely much better than Emax. It's a good price point servo if you want something cheap. It'll definitely work for you, so... yeah, with SCX24, you know that you've got like the 3-position speed settings that you can choose. And this is in setting 2, which seems to move along just nicely, just fine. So, not bad. You know, for a truck that was not designed to be what it is, and just reaching into a box and finding various parts and pieces, I couldn't be more pleased with how this turned out. Will I eventually get the TRX4M kit to make this complete? Probably not. I think the way that this all looks now and stuff, the way it's running, all the effort and time that I've put into it, I'm 100% pleased. I couldn't be more happy with it. It really does look, it looks the part. I will say, yes, admittedly, it probably doesn't have the ground clearance that it could have. I'm not 100% sure I'm bothered by that in any way. I've driven it on some rocks so far. It actually made a full lap around the indoor course a few days ago in a totally different version of it, so I suspect now with this modded and even better than what it was at that point, it's probably going to do just fine. So my mount up front seemed to work out. That's good. You know, anytime I can sort of fabricate anything out of that tin, I'm really always happy to do that. And then also to just have it kind of be as modular as what it is, you know. I think that worked out just fine. And Velcro's good enough for me. That's good enough for the people I go with. And also, too, the rear hinge on this, every once in a while, it'll kind of slip up on you, so you can kind of adjust your look a little bit by just kind of rotating that up a little. It's only held in by one screw on the back. You get 2 screws on the back, or you can just re-drill whatever you want to do, but this is how I set mine up. So I'm pretty pleased. Let me know your thoughts. Probably should cut this one short, I guess, and not ramble too long about it. Yeah, ask any questions you want. Any suggestions, thoughts, concerns, any of that stuff. Gonna try and keep this one short, I guess. So anyway, happy trucking out there, and maybe I'll get some running videos of this thing put up sometime soon. Take it easy. We'll see you. Thanks for watching, and yeah, talk to you in the next one.